There are people who have just said that they've had challenges with their moms and never really got affection, and because of that, they may be doing well financially, academically, whatever we define success to be, but can never really marry because they live with a deep sense of insecurity, so much that once they begin to get close to somebody, they begin to experience some form of anxiety because they feel there are aspects of their lives they don't want to deal with. You seem to want a certain level of affection before you accept that this person really cares. Please talk to your doctor. And sometimes you hear the other person say, what at all do you want me to do for you to know that I love you? Once you hear that, please go talk to your doctor about it, because chances are the person is bending backwards over and yet it doesn't feel enough. Hello everyone, you're welcome to Unfiltered Psyche, and we're happy to have you. We want to talk about how undiagnosed mental health conditions do influence our relationships, or whether or not we even get into relationships at all. I mean, in my line of work, I've heard numerous things about people who at a later age would have desired relationships or even gotten married, and for all manner of reasons never really did get married or ever even enjoyed healthy relationships. And I want to share a few insights so that we are all aware of how these things do influence our relationship outcomes. So it's interesting how sometimes people may go through very difficult situations, and just based on that situation sort of wires them for failure in any form of relationship that could lead to marriage, or even avoid marriage at all. I mean, outrightly, even if they earlier wish they could be in a marriage or some form of a healthy relationship. Now, the point is that sometimes people experience all manner of difficult situations. So people who have had very turbulent experiences with caregivers or with parents or people they sort of respected, and sometimes because of those kinds of turbulence they carry that wiring into any kind of relationship. So there are people who have just said that they've had challenges with their moms and never really got care, never really got affection, and because of that they may be doing well financially, they may be doing well academically, whatever we define success to be, but can never really marry because they live with a deep sense of insecurity. Okay, they live with a deep sense of fear of vulnerability, so much that once they begin to get close to somebody, they begin to experience some form of anxiety, panic symptoms, restlessness, because the person is getting to know them and they fear being known, because they feel there are aspects of their lives they don't want to deal with. Okay, so there are people who have transitioned, they've been through all the difficulty, the muddy parts of their life, and now they are so clean, they are doing so well, and they've detached completely from their experiences, and they don't want that to be that. And the thing about being in a healthy relationship is that people come to know your vulnerabilities, people come to know your weaknesses, and there are people who are so desirous of never allowing their weaknesses to be known. And sometimes this can result in they letting relationships go for no reason. Downtown you ask, oh, why did you let this person go? You said he's good or she's good and everything. Yeah, but I don't know, I just don't feel okay, I just don't feel. And sometimes it is I just don't feel okay all through, and they are never able to commit to the person into a marital relationship. And it's sometimes purely because of these experiences they've had where maybe they were not really cared for, they were some form of abuse, and they've been able to overcome that, and they don't want to deal with that anymore. And marriage has a way of letting that out. Now again, there are some people who also struggle with insecurity. So there are cases where they want to control everything because the last time they let go of their control, someone took advantage of them. So they want to control everything. They are asking all the questions, where are you, when are you coming? And so it's hard for them. They are sweet, they can buy you all the presents in the world, they can do all the nice things, but they are just so controlling. And sometimes they find nothing wrong with it. This is just me, they will say, this is just me, I'm just trying to care for you. But it is suffocating to the other person because of the level of control. And everybody who comes into their life doesn't really get to experience freedom, as it were. So they get all the money, they get all the gifts and everything, but they never are able to find their freedom. They are never able to move on, to talk to other people, engage other people. And sometimes these people just call relationships off because this other person who is so nice and sweet and all of that is suffocating. So there's that. So the type of attachment that a person experiences, or a person's experiences, has predisposed them to, whether it's avoidant, whether it's an anxious type, whether it's ambivalent, whatever it is, you are likely to find that it is going to impact the way people relate. And sometimes some people do not want to get into any relationship at all. So let me give you a typical example. So in a case where you find somebody who's had multiple fights with her dad, she and her dad could stand and have a fist fight, okay, then starts a relationship and finds out that in this relationship, this gentleman she's interested in, is very demanding of her. Oh, I think you should do this, I think you should. And then she interprets it that you want to control me just like my dad. I don't want this. Now, funny enough, in every form of relationship, you find people telling you one thing or another. They want to insist on one thing or another. And because she cannot take people insisting on one thing, because she interprets it as they coming after her, they trying to control her, they trying to abuse her and all of that, she cannot be in a relationship. So that is one example. And sometimes these are actually undiagnosed mental health conditions that may be going on. Like I said, in our earlier video, the point is that we don't want to put a label on people necessarily, but there may be something that has happened to them that may be influencing the things that they experience. So the point is that at every point in time, we need to be aware what has happened to me and how is it impacting my relationship. Some people have had to battle with things being said to them, so their self-esteem is a big thing. So the slightest thing you say to them, once there's no form of affirmation about anything, they feel you are leaving them, and you didn't comment about this, are you trying to leave me? And sometimes the other person cannot even explain anything to them anymore because it becomes a huge battle. Are you trying to leave me? Are you trying to leave me? And all those kinds of things. And people really, really struggle to maintain a healthy relationship into marriage when people are wired that way. And then there are also those who are very, very aggressive. So they are very sweet, they are very nice, but because of what they've been through, they will shout at you, they will speak down on you, all in their quest to feel loved, all in their quest for you to tell them that I'm not leaving you. Now, sometimes the point is that as clinicians, we can't put a finger on it. We can't call it depression. We can't call it anxiety. It's just something happening to you. But if you get it fixed, the earlier the better. Then you can enjoy a healthy relationship. Otherwise, no relationship is really going to last. Finally, you find those who have clear-cut diagnosis, which sometimes impact their relationship outcomes. So sometimes when you are depressed, you come across as lazy, you come across as unambitious and all of that. And sometimes it makes you judge yourself. It makes you feel inadequate. It makes you feel you are not worthy. And then we begin to self-sabotage. So once somebody tells you, oh, I think I'm in love with you, I like you, are you sure it's me? Are you sure? So we begin to self-sabotage. And that can also create problems in terms of we getting committed and getting into a more healthy relationship or marriage. And then finally, you find that sometimes we also struggle with anxiety. We are always anxious about everything, and this is where anxiety really, really affects relationship, where we are having our internal dialogue. So you find people who who interpret everything. So you said you call me at 3, you didn't call me at 3, and then their mind just spirals. Could it be that you're talking to someone else? Could it be that you are getting bored with me? Could it be? So their mind just spirals, and sometimes that level of anxiety makes it difficult for people to engage, because anytime they want to engage, the least thing they say is interpreted, and this person is almost always emotionally worked up because of that level of anxiety, particularly because of the internal dialogue, the constant conversation going on in their head. And then they become prejudiced, they become judgmental, they begin to call people names, they begin to play victim and all of that. And sometimes when you are calling people names, you are prejudiced, you become judgmental, and then you play victim, it's difficult for you to be loved. And then the person feels like, I can't do this anymore, and then the relationship ends. So the point is that these mental health components can really delay our relationships, and it's always important to note these few tips I'm going to give you. If you notice any of these things, please go talk to your doctor, your psychologist about it, and work through them. If you notice that you are very affectionate, okay, you give all the love, you give all the gifts, you give everything, but you require same and more, please talk to your doctor about it. Number 2, if you notice that anytime affection is shown, you withdraw completely, you seem to want a certain level of affection before you accept that this person really cares, please talk to your doctor. And sometimes you hear the other person say, what at all do you want me to do for you to know that I love you? Once you hear that, please go talk to your doctor about it, because chances are the person is bending backwards over, and yet it doesn't feel enough. The next one is that if you find out that you get emotionally dysregulated, the least thing, you are angry, you are insecure, you cannot stop the conversation going on in your head about this person, you are thinking about so many things, you are calling people, you are confirming people, you are going back into pictures to find all those kinds of things will drain you emotionally, please again go talk to your doctor. Sometimes it may not be about, it may just be that the relationship itself may not be healthy, but at the end of the day, talk to a doctor and be sure that it really has nothing to do with your mental health or an undiagnosed mental health condition. I hope this is useful, and thank you very much for watching Unfiltered Psyche.